Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Lupin by Story Archives. I am your host, Mario Busto, alongside
the other host, Zachary Newton. Welcome back.
How you doing, Zach?
I'm doing good. You know, today's not a work day, you know, so got a little bit of breathing room, but as you already know, I'm busy with some other things. How about you?
It's work day for me today. Busy week. I will never complain about a busy week. Had a couple of film shoots this week and now just organizing for post-production and the editing side of things. But I was able to watch Chapter 3 of Episode 3 of Lupin. And the best one of the season so far?
I agree. That's my feeling with this. This is my favorite episode. The one thing that I love about Lupin is there are a lot of episodes that it gives me the feeling of like, you know, man, I just want to curl up on a couch, sit down, and watch the nice episode. It's just so homey. It's just nice and relaxing to watch the show. So this was one of those for me. I really liked this. I love the heist episodes, but this, like the mystery going on in here, it was very interesting.
I think it's always nice when a show has like a lighter tone to it, and you know, you're not going to get any sort of extreme violence or inappropriate stuff in Lupin, which is nice. You know, it's a nice change of pace, and I just like the simple mystery element of the heist and the way that this character pulls off these very daring capers, you know?
Yeah. You know, I wish I could come into a statue that cost about $100,000. That'd be nice.
What I would do with 100,000 right now, man. What I would do.
Yep. Put that down on something.
Are you feeling capery? Because I see this is 2 episodes in a row that you're donning the new Zach beanie look.
Yeah. Well, this is like the new old Zach beanie. I used to wear beanies all the time. No, I'll tell you what though. As you know, we live in South Florida. I know you know that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do.
Well, we've had what we call cold weather down here. It's basically when the temperature becomes about 2 degrees cooler than it normally is.
So like instead of 92, it's like, you know,
89. Somewhere around there, yeah, you know. So that, you know, whenever that happens, I like to break out, you know, like a little beanie or a sweater, just to enjoy the breeze.
Just to
try and find some shade somewhere that makes it feel a little cooler than it actually is.
Well, I feel a little left out right now, so
sorry.
I'll be honest without the. No, it's all right. I've been preparing, so today I picked up my own.
Hey,
so I'll join you. I'll join you on the beanie club here to bring in the holidays.
Oh, perfect. So I bet Mario just left that in the kitchen and snuck that in his pocket just so we could have this moment here. But it's funny. Mine's green too tonight. It's hard to tell because the lights are dark, but it is.
That's just a crazy coincidence. I would have never pre-planned anything like this before. I'll be honest with you.
Of course you wouldn't. Why would you ever do that?
Yeah, I think mine is inside out. I'll be honest with you. Or maybe it's supposed to be like that. I don't know.
It don't matter as long as you can steal a statue.
Yes, sir. Well, let's get into it. Essentially, we pick up with Assane, who is dealing with a mysterious situation of who's kidnapped his mother. And for being a show about someone's mother being kidnapped, it still has a lighthearted nature to it because you don't feel like these kidnappers are going to like slit her throat or anything like that, you know?
No, they're trying to be like tough guys, but this guy's such a mama's boy.
That would be quite the tone change. And it is unique that he's such a mama's boy, considering his mom pretty much abandoned him as a child. At least that's what the flashbacks show us.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, likes his mom.
Any thoughts? I mean, we know his dad was framed for a crime he did not commit and was put in prison and then killed in prison. What do you think his mom did to end up in prison in Africa?
That is a great question. You know, I want to think that both of Assane's parents were like falsely imprisoned or something, or, you know, accused of being a thief, and you know he actually grew up to become a thief. But I don't know, something about her character just makes me think that she actually may have been a thief. Maybe that's why they split. His parents, at least, maybe that's why they split. So I don't know, maybe she was a thief. She kind of like got on the bad side of some very powerful people, and you know, they realized that her son is a really great asset, especially now that he's dead.
Well, I found it weird, and I think I mentioned this in the last episode, that she says to him to forget about her when he's a kid, when he's looking for her. And then now he called her at the end of this episode when the painting is delivered and he wants proof that she's not dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
That she says, don't do any more work for these people. So it makes you wonder why she would say that. And I did notice that the hand holding the phone was a white hand.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't notice that, which I've said, I think it potentially is going to be Bruno. And I think the flashbacks tell us a little something about Bruno. They both kind of had the same father figure.
Yeah.
Keller, the boxing instructor. And when that statue is appraised for $100K, Bruno kind of has this look of jealousy, like the kid who's not getting the attention. He's no longer the golden child.
No longer the favorite,
type.
yeah.
Yeah, so I do wonder that combined with the introduction to Bruno and the girlfriend who says the nerve you have to show up here, which makes me wonder what kind of drifting apart these two had in their friendship.
Yeah. I feel like it would be so wild if it were really Bruno that kidnapped his mom. I mean, they did team up. Like, he's had opportunity to take the Black Pearl and to, get away with it. Like, he could have actually had Assane arrested, but he seemed to buddy up. So I don't know that I think it's Bruno, but I am very curious and interested with how that storyline develops. I definitely agree with you. This episode, we really see, I think he was kind of like a brotherly figure to Assane.
Yeah.
Until he became the favorite. And I don't know where that's going to go in the next episode. Like, I think we're going to start to see a lot more of that rift between them in the next episode, but something's starting.
It could give this series a very much needed familiar villain, like a recurring villain. Perhaps it's Bruno. Perhaps like he is Moriarty to Assane's Sherlock. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not sure what direction it goes in, but I think it's either that it's Bruno or it's one of many people Hassan's probably crossed in his heisting career.
It's been a lot too. I mean, there's quite a few people on that board. I like the moment between Assane and Ben when they were just kind of like chuckling about all the little things that happen with these people.
Yeah, and it does make me wonder. I had a point I wanted to mention about that. I don't know what would be more interesting, it being one of these powerful people who he's crossed, but I think Assane's social footprint is rather small. I don't think that I think very few people, if they know his name, they don't know that he's this world-class thief. So we have to find out, the person who's behind this has to know that he is a very capable thief, right?
I don't know if that's quite true, because remember, Assane's become a very, very public figure at the end of last season. And to the point where his face is everywhere in all of the news. So I would agree if it were before the end of last season, he wouldn't have been as well of a known character. But he's got like mega fans at this point. So his name's out there.
It has to be somebody with some cash because they got some henchmen.
Yes,
right?
They do.
Henchmen that are brave to show their faces to Assane without any sort of mask or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But rather dumb to not assume that they would put a tracker on the painting, right?
I agree. Some of the editing choices and just prop choices I find very interesting. I love that you've got this tracker that you're trying to keep so inconspicuous, and it's beeping and it's flashing red right in the eye of the painting, and I'm like,
vandalizing a priceless painting with this tracker.
I know, it's funny, but yeah, it's one of those fun shows to watch. Like, I don't take it too seriously. Yeah, agreed. I'm not watching this for like historical accuracy or any sort of seriousness that you'd approach any show like with a more serious tone, right? Yeah.
But it's a fun show altogether. I of course will poke fun at certain things, like Cisco putting like his entire fate of his operation behind this card trick of pull an ace.
Yeah.
Like he meets DeLongle, right? DeLongle is Assane's alias in this episode, which his costumes are always hilarious. Like they're simultaneously cheesy, but just kind of good enough that you feel like they might work. For example, he's the basketball coach in this episode.
Yeah, he is. By the way, I think that's his best costume or best outfit
he's ever had. He's ever had.
This is like bringing me some Mission Impossible vibes. See nothing come together.
And not just that, I was wondering, because he has 3 days to get his mom back, pretty much, right?
Yeah. Well, to get the painting so she doesn't die. I don't even know if she's going to get him back or he's going to get her back.
Yeah, but you got to wonder, how on earth has he done all the logistics to become the league's basketball coach? Did he tie up the actual basketball coach and like put him in an apartment? Because this is one day to the next that they have this elaborate b-ball coach costume, you know?
I have no idea. I mean,
Ben's capabilities are insane. Ben, because Ben's the one who got that done. Like Assane is just the mastermind, but Ben is the one carrying out all of the logistics to get some of these things done. He has the decoy card thing, but who's doing the intel to know that Cisco has a job coming up and he needs a driver? All these things that come into play. But I think the show, they couldn't possibly answer all those questions for us, but it just adds to Assane's ability to get shit done, like just to constantly be able to get stuff done.
Yeah, man, he is always on top of it. And I don't know, I mean, as far as becoming the basketball coach, it could have been something that he was planning for a while. I mean, he was kind of staking out the whole basketball scene, as we saw in the last episode when his son they're getting bullied. He's up in the rafters, so could have been a long time coming, or at least a few weeks coming.
Well, and the basketball thing had nothing to do with this heist.
No,
that was just his way of getting close to his son again, pretty much.
Exactly. Yeah.
So he had that going separately, which this show is great at, right? Because I'm here saying, how did he get this done in 3 days? But now I'm realizing, wait a minute. The show's telling you like when the idea came to mind for him to become the coach. And it was when he was in the rafters seeing his son get bullied.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to get close to his ex-wife, who at this point, he's like emotionally traumatizing. Like he's dressing up as her type.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. She was like, she looked a little attracted to him.
Yeah, and she's like, dude, like this woman's got to be emotionally traumatized at this point by this guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Never trust anything from him. And I don't really know how much time passed between last episode and this episode. I imagine it was, I mean,
a day.
Was it really just a day, or do you think it may have been more? I know there's 3 days that he's got to do this thing, but I'm wondering, like, we never saw him kind of like get the mission from the people that he's now working for. In fact, they weren't even revealed until really the end of this episode.
No, they do show that he's in the office with Ben. The text comes in and it says 3 days. It shows the painting. It says you have 3 days to get the painting.
Okay.
So it's not that he has 3 days, period. It's he had 3 days to get the painting.
Mm-hmm.
It's not 3 days to get the mom back. It's 3 days to get the painting, and then he'll probably, whatever the next thing they'll ask of him, they'll probably give him another deadline. You got like 7 days. Maybe it's even crazy. I'm assuming it's just going to get crazier and crazier, the asks that they require of him, which is great because, you start off with the, one of like a historical gem, like a national treasure, which makes you kind of want to go back and watch the movie National Treasure to see if it holds up. And then now I'm assuming now you get this priceless painting, a Monet, I think it is, right?
Yep.
And then what's the next thing going to be? It's got to be something nuts. And I'm kind of glad we're watching this week to week. So we won't watch this next one till like next Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I have no idea.
I love taking the time between the episodes. It really makes me appreciate the episode, and just like I love to think about like, well, what's going to happen? I agree though. Like I do think it'll be something large. And I mean, look, these people have probably one of the best setups right now. You basically acquired a dead man to steal a bunch of things, which he's great at doing, or his mother dies. So it's like what do you have to lose, really? I mean, just have him keep doing this, do more and more and more until he's finally caught.
Yeah,
he's already dead according to the world.
Mm-hmm. What'd you think of the Cisco introduction? I like the fact that they kind of gave a little bit of, they laid the groundwork of who this guy is, right? He has a poker scene.
Mm-hmm.
He loses in poker, so he's going to kill this guy who owes him money, and then he pulls out the ace situation, right? And then we also see he has a soft side for his mother. It's not like he's just a villain, he's got like a soft side to him. An interesting character who's only going to have like a 1 episode stint here, but nonetheless.
he's interesting. He's a little cheesy. He's young, a little foolish, but I mean, I like them. It was a enjoyable little gang to watch Assane just completely mess with this entire episode. Yeah, I mean, he does have a soft spot for his mom, but I mean, I don't know, man. Even the intimidating people in the show, like they're not too intimidating. Like this doesn't take it over the top, which I like. Like I like that they don't take it too far. There's no gruesomeness. Like he kills this guy. We don't even know that or see that he kills him at the very least.
Well, no, he doesn't kill him because the car gets stolen at the exact time. So even Hassan's plan are perfectly timed to save lives because he saves 2 lives in this episode. He saves that guy in the beginning. He saves multiple lives. He saves Cad, the henchman of Cisco in this episode, right, who was not trusting Assane, and deservingly so. It's very shady circumstances that Assane came into the picture for these guys to include him in such an intimate way into their next heist, right?
Yep.
And trusting him as the getaway driver with no proof, and he picks a minivan of all the cars, which, by the way, I think it's a direct callback to a Grand Theft Auto mission, like in one of the early Grand Theft Autos.
Oh yeah,
where you rob something and then you go and paint the car and then you keep on going.
That's hilarious.
Or you go to a car wash. I think that's like a mission in Grand Theft Auto, like Grand Theft Auto 3.
Wow,
if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it was 4. I don't remember.
It's been a while since I've played it. Speaking of the cars, though, how'd you like all of these little James Bond-esque sequences with these car chases?
It's kind of like, here are all the nice cars, but we only have the budget for the minivan. But the minivan is so Assane,
It is, especially when it's all orange, right? Like that's not suspicious.
You made a mention of that.
Yeah,
you made a mention how they like to use orange for the keeping it with the brand of Lupin.
Yeah, I mean, orange is his color. I mean, in his outfits, he's wearing orange. It's in DeLonga's outfit. It's orange in his hair, orange in his jacket, and again, the shoes, they're orange. Like there's always orange in them. So
lots of locations in this show, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, we're starting to see more.
Yeah, Cisco's mansion, the mother's bedroom, the safe house, that tunnel, the basketball court, a lot of locations.
Mm-hmm.
They do a good job though of curating.
Yeah. What do you think this reporter has that she wants to show Claire?
I have no idea, because I was wondering that question. I'm warming up to her, Fleur. At first, I was like, but I kind of like her character. I also like the fact that they're making Lieutenant Sophia here kind of jealous, because I think she has the hots for Youseff, and I think Youseff has the hots for her. But I think we're going to get a little bit of a cop journalist love triangle here.
Yeah, I think so. I think the journalist might win in this one, though. She seems to be a little more interesting, and at least she buys into his theories of Assane being like Lupin, or at least heavily inspired by him.
What's crazy to me is that Assane's the one who's doing all this stuff, like getting his hands dirty.
Yeah.
But Ben looks the most stressed of anybody in this show.
I agree.
Like, I think Ben should just like link up with Claire, because they're like perfectly stressed out for each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's more concerned for Claire than Assane is. I just want to put that out there.
Well, he knows the truth, and he doesn't want Claire to be suffering. Like, I mean, Assane's not really suffering.
He's always like putting up with Assane's, like he's always having to double down on Assane's lies here.
Yeah.
It's like he's the one always having to remind Assane, like, yo, you got a wife and you got a kid, man. Like, What are you going to do about these two? He's just always picking up the pieces here for Assane. He's the if Assane's Batman, he's like Alfred,
Yeah,
he's not Robin. He's not Robin. He's Alfred, or he's a combination of Alfred and Morgan Freeman, Lucius Fox.
Yeah, he does have all the tech.
Yeah, he creates all the tech, and he's also like, he takes care of everything,
Yeah, find yourself a friend like Ben.
Yeah, for real. Goodness gracious, I mean, someone who's putting their whole life on hold to just take care of Assane's wishes, which I wish I could interview the show creators to understand how big this property is that Ben owns.
Dude, I feel like every episode we see of this
It gets
property,
bigger.
it just continues to grow. Like,
Yeah.
I know there was like some little hidden room in the last episode, but that was tiny.
And that
Man,
one
we've
is
got
like
like
fingerprint too.
yeah, we got a fingerprint scanner, on top of this like high tech upstairs room. Then you got like this secret compartment. I don't know, man. Like this is just, it's like the Batcave. It just keeps going.
It's getting cooler and cooler and cooler.
Yeah.
What they got going on here.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like it's like one of those boxes. It's just like it's always bigger on the inside than it looks on the outside. It just keeps adding to it.
Yeah. I also like that they kind of we were cutting back and forth between Assan's probably his first heist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how he was taking inspiration from his first heist in how he got ingratiated into Cisco's circle, right?
Yeah.
Because the statue and stealing the wallet was a play at gaining the trust of the guy he wanted to rob. So stealing the car was his way of getting close to Cisco so that he could get what he wants, which is actually the painting. It's kind of like a rope-a-dope. Hey, I'm going for the wallet, but what I really want is the statue. Or, hey, I'm going for the car, but what I really want is that painting.
Yeah. It's misdirection.
Yeah. I will say he got lucky as hell with those 3 guesses in the vault, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really cool looking vault, by the way. I don't know what happens if you get all 3 guesses wrong.
I was wondering that. Like, does it like incinerate everything inside?
Yeah.
Does it, like just
Well, that would
completely
be-
blow it up?
I mean, I would assume there's like just a fail safe that you can't get in unless you have, I don't know, whatever it is. But very lucky guesses, because his guesses I thought kind of sucked. He first chose the year it was stolen, then he chose the year it was created, and then he chose the year his mother was born.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it would have, like, I feel like anybody would have put the mother's birthday, not the year that she was born. It would have been like,
Well,
he probably should have done a little research on the mother's birthday.
Maybe.
But he didn't know he was going to put it in a vault, right?
He didn't know he was going to put it in a vault, but also like I don't know that I would think immediately like her birthday. But I mean, he got it right.
By the way,
course.
more and more the casting of young Assane is such a perfect casting for older Assane. Like when he puts the beanie on, I was like, man, he really looks like if that kid grew up.
Yeah.
With 10. Something about like the eyes and like the top of the nose. It's like, yo, you can actually feel like, oh, this is actually young Omar Sy. There's obviously differences that you can see.
Of course.
Season 1, I didn't see it as much, but season 2, I'm like, oh, he's kind of aging to look a little bit more like Assane as well. So I thought that was cool.
I think it's a great casting for young Assane. Like I wouldn't mind if we saw like more of like the young Assane and the like little missions and
maybe there'll
things
be a
that he went on
spin-off
to
show.
do.
I could see there being a spin-off show of a younger version of him recast
Yeah.
with a younger version, and then it's just him in his 20s, because we know that he was like pretty much a playboy, because in season 1, he was cheating on Claire with this other woman, Pellegrini's daughter.
Yeah.
Right? That was a thing. He was, so the show's lighthearted, but they have those elements of Assane's character in season 1 where you're like, I still think till this day what he did to Pellegrini's daughter was pretty messed up, how he included her in it. And he does get to a point where his obsession for revenge can cloud his morals, right?
Very true. Yeah. I mean, he definitely has his own moral code, and I don't think it's always right. There are situations where when things get like personal to him, his decision making is just not that great, which I think is fairly normal for a lot of people. But like he's just not thinking about those close to him.
I think we lose sight of this because he's so comedic and lighthearted,
Mm-hmm.
and so we kind of lose the sense that he's kind of like sometimes acting like numb, like morally numb into what the impact of his decisions are.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like he's lying to himself. Like he's just always like overly happy and excited about everything.
Yes, and then there's Ben like, you have a wife and you have a child.
And Bruno like, what are we doing?
Yeah, what he did to Juliette Pellegrini and how things leave off. Maybe she's behind this. Maybe she's the one behind this thing with his mother, because in a way he brought down her family. So maybe this is kind of reciprocation, and she becomes that villain I was talking about. It's not so much Bruno. It's Juliet, and she has the pockets to do this sort of thing. And also, remember, she has that connection to that museum of paintings.
Mm-hmm. That's
true. It would be an interesting character. It would be a curveball. I hadn't thought about it until I just brought it up now.
That would be very interesting. I just don't think Juliet would have it in her to do that to him. Like, I still feel like she does like him, even after all of the stuff that he's put her through. She recognizes that her father is not the man who she thought he was. So it sucks, but I don't know that it would really be her. I can't see her going through with this.
Did you catch at the start of the heist the ode to Baby Driver? Have you seen the movie Baby Driver?
I have seen the Baby Driver. It's been a while.
The start of the heist, how he plays the music. It's not the same song.
Oh, yeah.
But the way he plays the music.
Like the earbuds in his ears in the movie? Yeah.
And then he plays, like, the whole heist is timed with that. And they're like, what are you waiting for? Go. And then the song hits and then he takes off.
That was a great movie.
It was a mini ode. It made me want to rewatch it when I saw this scene.
Yeah.
Kind of wanted the heist to be a little longer. It did feel like the cops lost sight of him a little too soon, considering he's a damn bright orange van in the middle of Paris. But nonetheless.
I think it lasted long enough. Like, if it lasted any longer, it would have just been more driving with guys in the back of the car with guns. Like, I don't know that it would have been too interesting.
I felt like there was an ode to two movies in this, right? You had the ode to Baby Driver, and then at the end when he takes out Cisco and his crew with the gas, he leaves a Joker card on his chest, which reminded me of Heath Ledger's Joker. You know,
yeah.
Here's my card.
Amazing. I love how he wakes up. It was very comical when Cisco woke up and it's just like all the cops standing over with the guns on him. Man, that was funny.
I mean, he did Cisco a favor and didn't. You know, those guys were about to open fire on police officers, which would have been like 25 years.
Well, he said life sentence. Yeah.
It would have been a life sentence if they killed somebody, maybe more. I mean, it probably is attempted murder, so I'm assuming that it's like a life sentence. But
I'm not familiar with laws over there, but I imagine it would be up there.
Did you notice the coin he had has like a circle in the middle of it?
Yeah.
What was up with that? Is it to keep the washing machine, like the car wash, going?
That thought crossed my mind for a moment, but it doesn't stay going. It could have just been the type of coin that they had. I don't know what all of their coins look like over here in France and everywhere else like this. Yeah, but
they're driving a Renault, which is, you never see those in the States.
That's true. I do have I have my own coin collection. I don't remember where all of them are. It's been a while since I pulled out and looked at it. But I do have coins with holes in the middle of it. Like, it's coins look like that sometimes. It's weird.
Well, Assane does steal the painting. He delivers a poster to the mother, who seems to be happy about it anyways, although her whole life has been turned upside down. Her son's in jail and now she's like in a home.
Yeah.
But Assane now goes into the location, I wrote it down, the Palace d'Italie. I don't know what that is in English. Let me find out.
Okay. Breaks into the you mean when Ben's telling him, no, don't go in, we'll do it together. And he's making another boneheaded decision.
Is a public space in the 13th arrondissement of Paris. It's named from proximity the Palace d'Italie takes its name from its proximity to Avenue d'Italie, which traditionally has been the point of departure on the road that links Paris and Italy, a route now called the Route Nationale 7. Until the expansion of Paris was initiated by Baron Haussmann, the site of Palace Italy was occupied by a section of the Wall of Farmers General that separated Paris from the suburb of Blah. Okay, so it's like a public space building. If you're from France or you're from Paris, you like see these things. And you're like, oh, I walk by there every day. You know, like, it's got to be cool to see this stuff. I mean,
yeah.
In the States, we're so spread out, and because we're not in California, a lot of the places that we see on TV we don't recognize. But whenever I see a place that I've been to, it's like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, it's fun. There.
Like when I watched Outer Banks and they went into the suit store, I was like, I've been there randomly before I even watched the show.
Wow, that's funny. It is always fun to walk by things from movies. I love it.
Yeah.
I wish I got more of it. I wish I had scenes like or locations like this to walk by though, because the building, the architecture is beautiful.
it's awesome when you see it in person. I did a tour in New York years ago, like a long time ago, and I saw like the steps where at the end of The Godfather, when Michael's pulling off his giant revenge and he's taking out all the heads of the families. And everyone was, I was like getting all the trivia questions right. They're like, well, what are those steps from? And I was like, oh, The Godfather, when he shoots the guy and he like rolls down the stairs. Like all those, different things. Hilarious. But all right, so we end the episode with Assane delivering the painting and entering this place alone. What do you think happens here? Does he see his mother? Does he find out who's behind this? What do you think happens at the start of chapter 4?
At the start of chapter 4, I mean, I feel like he's going to have to see his mother in there and then, like get captured or something. Or maybe not captured, but I don't know. Like, I don't think this is going to go smoothly. He's got to have Ben by his side. Like, he's not planning this out. And I feel like whenever we see him do something that's just really not planned out, like it doesn't turn out well. But then sometimes, like, we find out later that he was already thinking a step ahead. He just didn't include Ben or us on this plan, right?
Oh, very often.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think he'll end up probably like seeing his mother. I don't know if he's going to like be close enough to talk to her or anything, but like just kind of doing some reconnaissance. That's what I would imagine goes down in the next episode, which is already halfway through the season, by the way. The next episode is halfway.
Yeah. I think it's going to be one of those situations what he uncovers will be that the person behind it was expecting him to go to this place and he just gets his next assignment. I think this thing happens in threes. Perhaps the next assignment is the second to last, and the final one is when he exacts his revenge, right? Because he's got to flip the tables on these people. He's got to, he has this thing where he always makes the person that he's robbing think that they're getting what they want from him. And then he subverts it and gets what he wants from them. It's always a thing that he does.
Yeah.
Right? When Pellegrini thinks he has him caught, he has a recording of him. When the guy thinks he's returning his wallet, he takes a statue. When Cisco thinks he has a driver and he has him cornered, he's got the fake card and he gets the painting. Like, he has a way of doing this. When the people think that he didn't take the pearl, he's inside of the unit and he's, arrested, and he's in, like, he has his own people on the inside,
Yeah.
So,
no, that's a fair point.
All right. So let's round out this episode. Do you have any categories for me, Zach?
Favorite scene in the episode.
Let's go with the heist.
Okay. The heist is great. I liked the part where he pulled out the Joker card. I thought that was fun, and obviously like the escape with the car. Getting into the car wash, having the paint get washed away. That was fun to watch as well.
Liked it.
I did also love seeing the little room that he's got upstairs with Ben. His little what do you want to call it?
Yeah, same.
Call it the Bat Cave or something.
Yeah.
Favorite character of the episode?
I feel like this is a whack category because it's always Assane.
Yeah, well, a lot of times it's Assane. I think last episode it was Jacuz.
It's true. Assane for this one for sure.
All right, I'm gonna pick young Assane. I love watching young Assane go through and steal these little things, whether it's the violin or it's the $100,000 statue.
Yeah,
I like seeing him in action.
Yeah, same here.
Cool. I don't think this is one of those where we can really pick out favorite line. So
no,
we're a little weak on the categories on this one, but
okay.
Great episode, man. I think that this is my favorite of the season so far.
All right, well, we got a special announcement for you all, for all of you who are listening to this show. We'll post this on all of our avenues, our channels. We got 2 new shows coming up in November, so we may have to do a little speed run once we finish Invasion episode 10, which is the finale of season 2 this Wednesday. After that, we're going to finish Lupin part 3. Sorry, getting a call. And then in November, we have 2 new shows to announce. We are going to be covering For All Mankind Season 4 starting November 10th. And we're going to be focusing on Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, Season 1, premiering November 17th. We highly encourage you to check those 2 out. Get caught up on For All Mankind if you have not. Stay tuned. We got some special stuff planned for the channel, and we hope you'll stay tuned. We got 2 strong shows to finish out the year. What do you say, Zach?
I am excited. I'll tell you what, like watching the trailer makes me want to go watch some Godzilla movies. So I might catch up on some of that. But I'm very excited for those 2 shows. For All Mankind has been great. And who doesn't love a good Godzilla show? So let's do it.
I agree. All right, y'all. Zach, to your outro.
Well, thank you for listening to this episode of Lupin by Story Archives. You can find this podcast wherever you find podcasts, Apple, Spotify podcasts. You can visit us on YouTube at Soapbox Podcast Network. You can visit our website at soapbox.house. Email is at contact@soapbox.house. And we do have a link in the description below to sign up for our quarterly newsletter. We hope to see you there.
Until next time, y'all, take care. Enjoy your weekend. We will see you on the Invasion Season 2 season finale on Wednesday. Peace.